I'm Tim Bradner. Welcome to Capitol Views. We're here today with new Representative Dan Ortiz from Ketchikan. Welcome to Capitol Views, Dan.
Hey, thank you, Tim. It's good to be here. Good to be here in the capital city. Good to be here to represent District 36 in Ketchikan, southern southeast.
Well, let's talk about Ketchikan. I remember hearing that there's been a remarkable economic renaissance in Ketchikan. Things are really doing well compared to at least as they were.
Yeah, they are. We've done some good things. Most recently, I think the shipyard has been our biggest addition, and the fact that we've been able to get the construction phase for the two new ferries down there in Ketchikan, the Alaska Marine Highway System ferries. That's big. That's huge, and it's helping our economy a great deal. Tourism, of course, has been strong here for a number of years, and then the fishing industry. That continues to be the backbone of the economy in terms of providing jobs, and 18% of employment in Southeast Alaska, private sector jobs, comes from the fishing industry. And it's kind of a quiet, doesn't get a lot of attention, but a big part of our economy, no doubt about it. So yeah, we are doing well, and hospital, we've had some hospital expansion there. That's been a big part of our growth. So overall, we're doing pretty well, and it's a good thing to know, because a lot of the rest of the state maybe not so well.
It's pretty remarkable. I mean, this Ketchikan story: economic diversification, manufacturing, fisheries, tourism, balances pretty well. Things did not. A few years ago, didn't look so well. I mean, you lost the pulp mill. Do you remember those days?
Oh, you bet. You bet. I worked at the pulp mill, paid my way through school, as a matter of fact. Worked 4 summers and then a 6-month stint as well, working at Ketchikan Pulp Company, and very grateful for the opportunity, because I could graduate without debt. So you're right. When that went down, it was a blow, and one that, at the time, folks didn't know, what the future of Ketchikan would bring, but we certainly were able to adjust and find new areas where we could do some good things, and so, it's been a success story for sure. But
what did you do with the pulp company?
Oh boy, I was one of their main technicians. No, it was pretty basic work. In fact. One summer I spent up in what they call the digesters, which is where they were cooking the wood chips in these big vats. And one summer my job was to lower welders down into these digesters and watch them work during the day as a safety thing. I was up there up on the top as a safety thing.
Keeping them safe.
Keeping them safe, you bet. Anyway,
I'm sure
it was not the most stimulating job, but nevertheless, it was a job that, again, helped pay my way through school, so I was very grateful to have it. But,
where did you go to school?
Seattle Pacific University for my undergraduate degree. I got a BA in history there, and then later on in the 90s, I was able to go back to University of Wisconsin in Eau Claire and get a master's degree in teaching history as well. So I got an MST in history from the University of Wisconsin in Eau Claire.
And you're in education? You're an educator?
I am. I spent 32 years in public schools, and spent a lot of that time coaching and teaching, and high school social studies, economics, those kinds of things, U.S. history and debate. So all the kinds of things that were drawing me back to government and to the functions of both national politics and state politics. And so I always had that interest. And so finally I decided, after my son graduated from high school here this past year, that I was going to give this a run, and it worked out.
Take part, participate. Why? I have to ask you this. Why did you decide to be an independent?
Because I was an independent. I had been independent, registered as an independent for at least, over the last 15 years, 12 of those 15 years, and the most recent 7, I was independent. And so for me, partisan politics, has not, I've looked at government, and I thought oftentimes partisan politics gets in the way of real progress and real solutions and answers for everybody, not just special groups and those kinds of things. So I was an independent going in, and while there could have been some advantages for me to file as one party or the other, I just that's not who I was. I was independent, so I just decided to go for it as an independent.
You stuck to your principles.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
yeah.
And,
How does that, in terms of dealing with your colleagues, though? How does that work? I mean, you don't go to a caucus then?
Actually, I do.
You're one caucus.
I'm caucusing with the minority,
Okay.
and you know, as my discussions with the minority leader, you know, he assured me that I was going to be able to vote my conscience, that I wasn't going to, you know, be told to vote a certain way as being a part of that particular group, and that I'd be able to promote my, you know, my ideas about nonpartisanship through that. And so I think it's a good place for me to be. So yeah, that's how that worked out.
And we have a new governor that shares those views also.
He does, you know. Governor Walker and I, we're the two lone independents elected officials in the Alaska state government. So, you know, and we've talked about that. You know, Governor Walker and I have talked about that, and you know, and I feel good about it. I feel good about his message about nonpartisanship, and I'm just going to certainly do what I can to at least lessen partisanship.
So what committees are you on now? Yeah.
I'm in transportation,
That's
fisheries.
important for Ketchikan.
Yeah,
all those
important,
things.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that was another reason why I joined that minority caucus, because they offered me a spot in transportation and fisheries, in economic and economic development tourism, which is also now has Arctic policy attached to that, and community and regional affairs. And then I'm on two subcommittees as well, one for education, which of course is an interest of mine, and then one on transportation. So, you know, particularly in the transportation area, I'm going to be watching real closely what happens to the Alaska Marine Highway System, and because that's such an important element to our transportation infrastructure here in Southeast Alaska. So that was one of the reasons why I was particularly interested in getting in the Transportation Committee and Subcommittee.
We've got a very diversified committee mix.
I do.
It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, and busy.
Yeah,
but I'm excited about it, and again, I think from those committees, I can do a good job of representing the interests of my district. You know, my district is both you know, smaller towns like Wrangell and Heidelberg and Hyder, and then also Ketchikan, Saxman, so I've got, but all of there's some commonalities there, and one of those commonalities is the importance of the fishing industry, and of course the marine highway system is important to everybody.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Dan, thank you very much for being with us. I'm Tim Bradner. Thank you for joining us at Capitol Views.
Hey, thanks for having me.